Oh boy. But y'all probably know what I'm about to say. So obviously people are probably assuming I'm gonna have a pretty crazy fucking opinion about this. I've never really hopped onto a live stream and started talking about political things in general. I've lately been loathing talking about politics for like the last two years or so. Have absolutely been way more political in the past. I think I've absolutely been mostly radical in the past. And people will say I'm like a radical leftist or liberal or something. I just don't consider myself like a liberal or leftist. Yeah, I hold like a lot of left leaning views, but I don't align myself with the Democratic Party necessarily. And I have a serious disdain for most Democratic politicians, even though I mean, obviously not all of them are completely terrible, but I would say a good chunk of them definitely are. I was only registered as one like at my very early adulthood. I'm currently not. And the only reason why I did was because the only politician I ever necessarily genuinely voted for was Bernie Sanders. And I've made videos about Bernie Sanders. Obviously, I was upset that he didn't run as an independent. I have a lot of disdain for the two-party system. I would prefer to have, for once in our lives, even though it's like pretty much impossible, an independent president. That would be the most impressive thing to me ever. It's never gonna happen. So I'll start. Charlie Kirk the other day on 9/11 Eve was assassinated. It was very much condemned by the left. Most of the Democratic people, the liberal people, I follow to any capacity online. Like Dean Withers, Parker was literally there. David Pakman, Brian Tyler Cohen, previous presidents, most Democratic people, Governor Gavin Newsom, Senator Bernie Sanders, all of these people genuinely came out and condemned the shooting. Obviously, Democrats are not pro shooting. Now, am I going to say that there aren't people who are left leaning who aren't pacifists and are inciting political violence? Sure. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're not, but obviously the Democratic Party isn't going to adopt them in those beliefs. That's not something that's happening. That's not their main push. That's not their main objective. What I do think, which is very reciprocated, is that the MAGA and the conservative, like the Republican side, incites an insane amount of violence, much similar to a lot of the radical lefts. There are the radical rights, but they never own it. Like they never own it to any capacity. Okay, I just want to point out this big hypocrisy here before we really dive into some things, because I want to talk about SQC and Asmongold being two goobers and two stupid idiots. Move on to what Matt Walsh said. Ben Shapiro reposted it. I was never a big fan of Charlie Kirk. I will go ahead and put this out here. I do not like Charlie Kirk. I did not like him. I hated his beliefs. I'm not super happy that Charlie Kirk with a K got shot and killed. I'm not super happy about it because I know that there's a significant amount of negative consequences to this that are just not in line with my beliefs or views. Now, that's not necessarily that I give a shit, right? Like, I don't fucking care. I mean, people get shot and killed every fucking day. I mean, y'all are never wanting to gun reform. This is to the right, obviously. The right are never trying to do any kind of reform on guns, even though it's very needed, obviously. With the insane amount of school shootings that they're just now trying to blame trans people for, even though the majority of school shooters have always been like just cisgender, straight, white guys. Like most of them are that. I'm not happy that Charlie Kirk died. Am I apathetic to it and kind of not giving a shit? Yes. Now I want to talk about the reasons why I obviously believe that this is very bad. One of those big reasons is that if you want gun violence to end, like I'm not going to be an optimist and say we're going to live in a society where gun violence is gone. I do agree with Charlie Kirk's like view of you're never going to get rid of gun violence altogether. I think that's very realistic. If you want gun violence to end, which I don't think that's something that's going to happen anytime soon, realistically, but if you want to support ideals and for like legislation to be brought out, and if you want to reduce those numbers, if you want to reduce those statistics, then you can't be for gun violence at all. If that is something that you want to stop, then you cannot support it and fucking be glad about it. Humor exists. The right wingers will always talk about how their dark humor is being censored and their freedom of speech. Like, oh, you're just censoring me and my freedom of speech. They always joked about fucking George Floyd dying. They made jokes about people being assaulted. They make all kinds of really fucked up jokes, just the same way that liberals make all the kind of fucked up jokes. We all like humor. We all like comedy. Sometimes there's a place for it. Sometimes there's not a place for it. I'm not going to sit here and start fucking beaming you jokes about Charlie Kirk dying. Do I think it's a little bit ironic that he died from gun violence while talking about gun violence? A little bit. And it was a little funny to me. But honestly, there's more negative effects that we should probably be talking about. Now, one of the major negative effects of Charlie Kirk dying is very blatantly that the Republicans are basically using him. I say Republicans, but it's just MAGA people. There's like regular Republicans are not always MAGA. MAGA people are using this as some kind of martyr to usher in or try some kind of civil war. It seems like I've seen Matt Walsh come out and say that he's not saying that, but we're going to look at what he actually said on video and break that down in a minute, because I don't think he really understood what he was saying either, because the way that he worded it, the way that he was talking about it, definitely did seem like he was trying to incite some sort of violence for some kind of civil war there. But him coming out and clarifying that that's not the case is better than nothing, I guess. But it is what it is. I'm not trying to pick fights with a bunch of people today. I'm going to be making fun of like these goobers, because I know XQC is. I can't even listen to this dude talk. Can y'all understand this motherfucker? Like, I tried to. I skipped ahead to when he's like actually reacting to Asmongold, because I saw David Pakman for like 2 seconds on a reel, like talking about Asmongold having a really fucking awful opinion. So I thought this would be the great place to start, because I've never really thought about Asmongold. I've only seen one instance of him online. It was when he had like beef with Elon Musk, or Elon Musk had beef with him. It was really weird. I forgot what it was about, but all I know is that he's like dirty and doesn't like clean, which is wild.
Insane, like the person who killed Charlie Kirk. It's to give them the ammunition they need to kill that person and to put that person's life in danger. That's why they're doing it. And so that's the reason why they want to find out the identities of ICE agents. That's the reason why they want to find out the identities of Tesla owners.
Okay, wait a minute. Because I just jumped into this without even like knowing any of the context before this. I'm more of a radical independent. I'm definitely more radical than I am. Like, the average Democrat is not going to be as radical as me, honestly. I'm very independent. I have left-leaning values. I'm just not a left-leaning voter. I'm genuinely not. I don't care. ICE is like literally a Gestapo. The things that they're doing, like right now on X and like in news, I constantly am seeing things about how they're celebrating. I literally see all these MAGA people fucking celebrating. Yeah, we're revoking legal status for over 500,000 fucking immigrants. And it's like, legal status? So you're saying they did the right thing. They came here a legal way, and now you're revoking a legal status to deport them. I thought it was about legality. Was it not about legality? So now you're just trying to fucking make people illegal at this point. Also, fuck Laura Loomer. I saw what she said like a while ago about like putting people into alligator Alcatraz, but when she said the amounts, she didn't even put like the undocumented amount. She put the entire like population, the Hispanic population, and joked about feeding them to fucking alligators. What a stupid bitch. Yeah, so honestly, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm pro doxing fucking ICE agents, but they're wearing I thought masks were bad. I thought masks were bad. Weren't you not supposed to wear a mask? Wasn't that your whole thing in COVID, MAGA? I'm not going to wear a mask. If you literally have to wear a mask because you're that fucking scared of doing your job, you're literally deporting taxpayers. Undocumented immigrants literally brought in like 90 something billion dollars of taxes, and the only federal benefits that they get are being allowed to go to hospitals. Like in an emergency situation in an ER, they're not going to be turned away. They're going to have life-saving care. Like that's the only thing they get. But they get some state benefits, of course, but that's not coming from your federal taxes. The whole narrative is just completely asinine. And when you take like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and you're like, oh, you were talking about how Charlie Kirk is a dad. You're uprooting families everywhere. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I'm exactly who they're talking about. I'm like pretty much who they're talking about. I'm gonna be honest. I really am.
Intended somebody's gonna die or get killed, whatever, a million times with memes or whatever, right? I'm gonna tweet a picture of this gun. I'm gonna tweet about this person dying. I'm gonna tweet about this congressman getting killed. I'm gonna do all that, but I'm gonna do it in a way that it's not. I'm not doing it exactly right. I'm gonna just keep doing it because it's a good meme. Oh,
this is the exact fucking argument that David Pakman professionally gave to Joe Rogan when Joe Rogan was talking about right-wing people being censored for their beliefs, and David Pakman professionally speaking on the idea that, hey, your words have consequences and they incite people to do things. Like when we talked about how we had two, I think it was Minnesota, we had two lawmakers recently that were literally like, had an attempt on one of them died, I think. It was just like an assassination from an actual MAGA terrorist. You didn't have what Charlie Kirk had. Charlie Kirk literally wasn't even a lawmaker, and they did that. Hang on, let me pull that up, actually. They didn't do this for people who literally work with you. Like literal other lawmakers that work with you. They didn't do this. Because what Donald Trump should have done is he should have de-escalated the issue, but instead he like basically fucking declared war.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people.
He also was like an actual fucking racist who thought that the civil rights movement was wrong. He thought the Civil Rights Act was bad and shit. Charlie Kirk was genuinely a bad person, let's be honest. I'm going to be completely honest here. I did not like the motherfucker. I'm not happy that he's dead. Obviously, there's a bunch of, because this is happening. This is why I'm not happy that he's dead. This is why I'm upset. Part of the reason is because this retaliatory response, and they put this out before they even knew who the shooter was. And obviously, like, I mean, I couldn't imagine that the shooter was going to be anybody but a leftist. I'm going to be honest. But at the same time, the only people that I thought really didn't like Charlie Kirk, the biggest community that didn't like him was like fucking Nick Fuentes's community. I might be wrong there. I don't know. I might be wrong, but
he's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
Wait, actually, so I think he just called him a martyr, which is okay.
This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever.
I will say, the whole idea of bringing younger people into the audience there, like, sure, that's like obviously a good thing, but he literally was only doing that because that was the only group that he could actually debate. Anytime Charlie Kirk, I guess I'll miss Charlie Kirk for that. It was kind of funny to watch him lose debates all the time. The only time he ever was doing well in a debate was against a college kid. Like, this is the only time he was ever a good debater, was against like people who were younger and dumber than him. That was the only time.
To share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed
sense.
his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today.
All right, so yeah, before the shooter was even like caught and like we found any kind of information on him, boom, right here, he's just immediately blaming leftists. He's immediately blaming left-leaning views, saying that these are the kind of views that are leading to these kinds of terrorists. He's completely ignoring the fact that 2 Minnesota lawmakers were literally shot by a MAGA person. And what the fuck? There's political violence all around the spectrum. There's this, dude, this is so dumb. This is the response that we're getting a lot, because Gunther Eagleman on fucking X also came out and was like, they declared war. Like right now, they're all like, war, fight the libs, war. It's like, fuck. I'm what you're saying. They are. What the fuck? I'm the radical guy. They're not. Like, fuck. What are you talking about? When they talk about L.A., oh my god. Fucking, oh, LA's so bad. It was all the riots they had to send to the National Guard. LA, the city, and fucking the state, California, literally said they had it completely handled. They arrested anyone that was fucking around with them. They literally came out. Gavin Newsom came out and said they're not going to tolerate it. Gavin Newsom even came out and said that the shooting at Charlie Kirk was bad. They had the situation completely under control. And then during No Kings, literally over 10 million people were protesting. Over 10 million people. And you thought the entire time it was just 10 million people burning fucking cars? No. People genuinely have disdain and dislike for what this motherfucker does. For what people like Charlie Kirk believe in. That doesn't mean they believe in gun violence. Most Democratic people don't believe in gun violence. This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous narrative. He is inciting violence again, like how he did with the January 6th shit. Before that, the founding fathers wouldn't stand for this, talking about how the election was stolen from him. He incited that. And then they were all like, "Oh, it was secretly the Democrats and the FBI, and you actually didn't know." Brother, anything to stop talking about the Epstein files, I guess. Holy shit. He's basically saying that he's not calling for violence, which I guess is better than nothing, but this is the clip that...
Over the past 24 hours, I've seen some in the media, some of the very same people who intentionally stoked murderous hatred against people like Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk specifically.
That's not exclusive to like left-leaning people, okay? The murderous hatred is something that both the right and the left have had, and independent people like me. I'm not saying that most Democrats are radical. I'm not saying that even remotely. I think most of them are fairly more peaceful than I fucking am. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm an asshole. I'm genuinely. I'm not for gun violence, obviously. I think realistically, sometimes it's gonna happen. It ain't going a fucking way. But yeah, no. So he's acting like it's exclusively to the left.
Now saying that we need to turn down the temperature and start having conversations. Well, Charlie tried to have conversations with you on the left, and you killed him for it.
Okay, so he's basically saying that the time for talking is not now.
You're killing us in our churches. You tried to kill our president. You killed one of our greatest advocates in Charlie Kirk.
I will say, I don't even think that the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life was even like a real assassination. I'm one of those guys. I think it's really weird that the Secret Service literally ushered in and directed the photographers to the front of the stage to take pictures of him and then deliberately had the flag fucking lowered behind. I don't know if that video has ever been debunked, but that video of them literally doing that was pretty fucking suspicious. I don't know if I can pull that up now. I'm not going to pull that up now. It's no point. But I still think that's sus. So he's saying all this bad stuff that's happened to us and blah, blah, blah. He never talks about the bad stuff that happens to the liberals and Democrats. It's always me with the right. It really is.
Been openly cheering for and celebrating and encouraging and committing political violence for years. Antifa, BLM.
They'll never get over BLM. That's something they'll never get over. But I personally, I supported Black Lives Matter before it turned into an organization. When it was simply just like a fucking hashtag, like when it was literally just like something that was trending where people genuinely were just trying to say Black Lives Matter and didn't turn it into an organization. Like when it was originally, the movement began, I was for it. That was fine. But when they turned into an organization and like the 6 fucking people or whatever that were in charge of it, just basically took all the money and ran. I mean, it barely exists anymore. But yeah, no, I was not happy with Black Lives Matter after they organized. It was not very organized. They did not accomplish too much.
You made a hero out of Luigi Mangione.
I'm that guy. I fucking love Luigi Mangione. I do think he was a fucking hero, basically. Well, there's a big difference between shooting Charlie Kirk and shooting Bryan Cranston. I almost said Bryan Cranston. Oh my god, just Breaking Bad. I don't even remember the dude's name. The fucking CEO of United, whatever. Piece of shit. Well, there's a big difference. Okay, Charlie Kirk, yeah, he was a bad person. Obviously, I don't think that's a good thing. Fucking insurance companies and all the healthcare industry are literally farming our death and suffering for money. That's an enormous difference in my opinion. I don't think that these things are even remotely equatable. I don't even think that the Luigi Mangione thing was even political or even necessary for fucking Matt Walsh to bring up here. Genuinely. I don't think it's remotely relatable. They're trying to blame the left for supporting Luigi Mangione. When Ben Shapiro did this, his entire comment section of Republicans, his own fans, blasted him for it. Completely annihilated him for it. Because he was wrong. Because it wasn't the woke liberals, it wasn't the left that fucking supported Luigi Mangione. Literally, most people, the majority of us did. And I still do. Because fuck rich people and fuck insurance companies. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how people feel about me not having empathy for a fucking healthcare executive. I have a finite amount of... I've said this for the last few days. And this is why I don't have that much empathy for Charlie Kirk. I have very little. I understand he was a father, blah, blah, blah. So was the other guy. I don't have infinite energy, infinite empathy to give people. I don't. Okay? I will give it when I feel like it's deserved. And I give it to the people who are relatively closer to me. I give it to the people who I feel like are marginalized communities that have literally been oppressed, not just in the United States, but around the world, that I know about, that I'm educated on. The ones that I'm not educated on, I mean, I could give them a little bit, but I don't fucking even know they exist sometimes. I'm not the smartest man in the world. All right. I'm not. And you shouldn't listen to influencers. Genuinely. The only influencers I genuinely listen to anymore are like CoffeeZilla and fucking Moist Critical, because they just I know Charlie has these views that are always just the grass is green and tries to be like super middle, but I genuinely do love his content.
And you celebrate Charlie's death even now. It's too late to turn the temperature down.
No.
This is not a time to hold hands. It's a time for justice. This is a time for good to fight back against evil.
Okay, so this is basically him. That's a screenshot. That's a screenshot. Hell yeah. All right. Sorry, I had to see the screenshot of his face. This is fucking... I do that to I actually have a text chat in my Discord where I take screenshots of my face during like my videos and streams where I look fucking retarded. Because it's funny. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, no, he's literally saying it's not the time to have conversations. So what's the alternative? What is the average uneducated MAGA voter gonna think when you tell them the time for talking is not here? It's time for justice. It's time for good versus evil. Fucking Cletus is gonna pull his 12 gauge out and go do some dumb shit.
It is time for the righteous to prevail. For the sake of our country and for our families and our children.
That's so fucking lame.
And for Charlie.
So he's claiming that he's not inciting violence with this, and he's being extremely indirect. But this is what I was talking about when David Pakman was talking to Joe Rogan about stuff like this. It's because it was genuinely that. I'm gonna keep watching Asmongold for a little bit.
Somebody actually brought a gun. Whoa, what do you mean? What the fuck? How? That's not what we meant, dude. Just don't do it. It's just cringe. It's cringe. It's not just edgy. It's wrong.
They can destroy their car and destroy their lives. And this is
why do you think that doing dark humor is bad when you have no finesse with a big platform? Because when you have absolutely zero finesse with humor, and you make jokes that are like, oh, dude, a woman can't drive or whatever, right? If you have finesse in it, oh, haha, this is funny, and the point, there's no point. It's just a joke, right? People will say, that's funny, right?
Do people just watch XQC to make fun of how he talks?
Right? And so, but people behind the scenes, they go, true, fuck them, fuck women, and then it actually fosters this type of mindset, and other symptoms arise from.
That's literally what that's what MAGA does. He's describing what MAGA does.
That type of behavior, and that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem.
Dude.
That's not a good thing.
Especially since BLM, it's been a 90% left-wing thing.
Yeah, I think that's so bullshit saying it's a 90% left-wing thing after they had a literal insurrection on January 6th. They fucking actually tried to take over the Capitol building when Biden got elected because they wanted to stop the peaceful transfer of power because Donald Trump was crying on Twitter about how he actually won the election and it was stolen from him. He quite literally did that. He said that we should even he even talked about basically, I'm not paraphrasing here, nullifying or getting rid of certain articles in the Constitution in order to rules or regulations in the Constitution. He literally talked about removing things in the Constitution. This is so fucking ridiculous. Asmongold is a fucking stupid idiot. He needs to clean his fucking room too. What a fucking pathetic piece of shit. I was pretty pro gun violence when it came down to Luigi Mangione, but if you want gun violence to not exist, you need to kind of not be pro gun violence in any circumstance. I don't see an equatable, like Matt Walsh was trying to fucking equate what happened to Charlie Kirk with what happened with Luigi Mangione. Basically, the left, they were supporting Luigi Mangione. It was like, no, everybody was supporting Luigi Mangione because Brian Thompson was CEO for a healthcare or an insurance company, which is a fucking industry that is literally farming people suffering and dying. It wasn't like a liberal thing. It literally wasn't. Most Democratic people are saying that what happened was bad, but the MAGA people, the Republican people, are all trying to say that the left are. They wanted this to happen. They're saying it was a good thing. They're all happy about it. It's war. It's not fucking war, buddy. We're not going to war. I mean, fucking try my front door. Good luck with that, motherfucker. But holy shit. The Democrats could do that with their own party and look inward and say that something bad happened to people on the other side and that we don't condemn that or believe in that. But the other way around never happens, dude. MAGA never takes accountability for all the shit that they do. They never condemn the bad things that MAGA people have done or talked about or say. They never take accountability for the words that they have or the weight that gets carried by them, and they always say some unhinged fucking shit that is just anti everything. They hate everybody. They hate gay people. They hate black people. They hate Mexicans. They hate everybody. They literally do. I don't necessarily believe that an undocumented person necessarily means that they're an illegal human being. I hate that. I don't believe in outlawing human beings to any capacity. Sure, you want them to be documented. I think Democrats failed the fuck out of that because the average time it takes to immigrate into the United States from the southern border is 2 to 5 years. You think people are going to wait 2 to 5 years instead of just climbing over the fucking fence? And then you're surprised when they do. And then you make up conspiracy theories about how they're settling our fucking Social Security and all this shit with no evidence, nothing to back it up. Or how there's a bunch of people who are dead, like hundreds of years old, they're on Social Security. It's complete bullshit, bro. It's complete bullshit. I wasn't going to spend too much time on this tonight, so I was going to play Helldivers originally with Darian tonight. I figured since he told me that he's not going to make it, that I could just talk about this instead, because it's something I do genuinely believe in. I'm like an independent voter, and I'm fairly radical to the sense that I do believe in a class war, not like a fucking culture war. I think that the working class Americans should be in a free market economy that is completely untaxed, and anybody with an a crazy amount of wealth should be living more socialist and having their fucking money taken from them and being given to society. Because if we stop paying taxes right now, these rich fucks could literally compensate the difference and remain utterly wealthy and be completely fine. I fucking hate rich people. That's my radical view. I fucking hate rich people. I don't like billionaires. I don't believe in ethical billionaires, which includes Taylor Swift, which doesn't mean I condone the shit that Charlie Kirk said about her needing to be submissive to her fucking husband, which was lame and fucking retarded. But overall, I don't believe in this shit. I believe you shouldn't be a fucking racist. I believe you shouldn't fucking hate your neighbor. You should love thy neighbor. I'm not even fucking Christian, and I believe you should love thy neighbor. That's some horse shit, dude. I think people are suffering. The average American is working fucking like multiple jobs. They're 60% of us are living paycheck to paycheck, barely can afford bills. Everybody is fucking suffering. And Democratic people and independent people somewhat have been literally telling Republicans for decades that we're suffering and we need to raise minimum wages and the income inequality is really bad. And the literal fucking second that Republicans start to feel this economic weight and they start to feel economically like, oh no, AIDS are getting expensive. Oh no, gas is getting expensive. Let's blame brown people and create conspiracies about how they're taking our tax dollars and all these taxes are why we can't afford to live, even though if that, which it isn't, true, if that wasn't true in their mind, if they didn't believe that, they would still be getting taxed the same fucking amount.
I see some dreams would never look back, when treasure and tales would fall